You ever notice how sometimes you're just existing? You're not bragging. You're not showing off. You're literally minding your own business, and suddenly, someone's whole energy toward you shifts. Maybe they were friendly yesterday, but today they're distant. Or they give you that quick up and down look, like they're measuring you. Or they suddenly become competitive, sarcastic, or strangely irritated, even though you didn't do anything. It's subtle, but you can feel it. A weird tension. A quiet jealousy. Almost like your presence alone is pulling something out of them they don't want to look at. And here's the wild part. This usually happens when you're actually in a good place. When you're calm, more confident, more aligned, more you. That's the moment when people start reacting to you in ways that don't make sense on the surface. Because the truth is, your energy is saying something their mind can't ignore, even if you're not speaking a single word. So what's really happening here? Look, this isn't just your imagination. A lot of people experience it, especially those who are self-aware, emotionally intelligent, or just quietly confident. You start noticing a pattern. When you feel aligned, other people start acting off. Friends who were warm become distant. Colleagues suddenly turn competitive over things that never mattered before. Even family members can start giving subtle digs or passive-aggressive comments. At first, it's confusing. You ask yourself, did I do something wrong? Did I say the wrong thing? But then you realize it's not about your words or actions at all. It's about something far more subtle, the energy you carry, the state of being you project without even trying. Here's what's happening. Humans are wired to subconsciously notice signals in others: confidence, calmness, focus, authenticity. Your internal state becomes visible, whether through body language, tone, or even just the way you move through a space. For some people, this triggers a sense of comparison or inadequacy. And get this, it happens faster than their conscious mind can process. So while you're simply being yourself, your presence is acting like a mirror. It reflects not only your energy but also the gaps, insecurities, and unacknowledged traits in others. This is why jealousy can appear out of nowhere. It's not about you being better or trying to compete. It's about the discomfort your aligned energy creates in someone else's subconscious patterns. Now here's where it gets interesting. The way this works is deeply rooted in psychology and neuroscience, and understanding it changes everything about how you relate to others. Okay, so here's what's actually going on when people react to your energy with jealousy, discomfort, or subtle hostility. It's not magic. It's your brain, and theirs. And understanding it requires looking at both psychology and neuroscience. 1. Subconscious comparison system. Look, humans are wired to constantly compare themselves to others. It's not about being mean, it's survival programming. Your brain has an autopilot running in the background, scanning everyone around you. It asks, am I safe? Am I capable? Am I measuring up? This happens in milliseconds, faster than conscious thought. When you walk into a room feeling confident, calm, or aligned with your goals, your state sends microsignals. Body posture, tone of voice, facial expression, even subtle timing in your movements. People's brains pick up on these signals unconsciously. And here's the kicker. If your presence highlights gaps in their own self-perception, it triggers an instant comparison. They might not even know why they feel tension, but their mind is running calculations. I'm not as confident. I'm not as at peace. I'm lacking what they have. That's the seed of jealousy, a subconscious recognition of qualities they wish they had or haven't fully accepted in themselves. 2. Reticular activating system, RAS, plus emotional salience. Here's where it gets a little neurological. Your reticular activating system, or RAS, acts like a filter for what your brain notices. It decides what is important, what grabs attention, and what feels like a threat or opportunity. When your energy is aligned and coherent, it's high signal, meaning it stands out in the mental landscape of others. Think of it like a bright lighthouse in a foggy harbor. Their RAS immediately flags this signal. Something is different about this person. And because the RAS is closely linked with emotional salience, the brain's way of tagging what matters, this difference triggers a response. It can be admiration, curiosity, or jealousy. Often, people can't separate their emotional reaction from rational thought. All they feel is a subtle tension they can't explain, and the jealousy bubbles beneath the surface. 3. Mirror neurons and emotional resonance. Now here's something wild. Mirror neurons. These are the brain cells that literally mirror other people's emotional and physical states. When you're calm, grounded, or excited about your goals, people unconsciously mirror some of that energy. For some, this is inspiring. For others, it's uncomfortable.
Why?
Because if they're misaligned, scattered, or suppressing emotions, your coherence highlights their dissonance. Your calm is a reminder of their inner chaos. Your confidence is a reminder of their doubts. Your joy is a reminder of their suppressed desires. This is where the mystical part meets psychology. The energy people react to isn't some ethereal force, it's a reflection of your internal state. And get this, people don't like seeing themselves unmasked. Even if your behavior hasn't changed, your aligned energy triggers their own shadow, those unacknowledged parts they hide from themselves. 4. Shadow traits and projection. Let's dive a bit deeper with a psychological term, the shadow. Coined by Carl Jung, the shadow represents the qualities people deny or suppress in themselves. Here's the thing, when someone sees those qualities embodied by someone else, jealousy kicks in. For example, you're naturally confident in social situations. Someone else struggles with shyness or self-doubt. Your presence triggers their shadow. Their subconscious mind interprets it as a threat, even if you didn't mean anything. Projection amplifies this. Instead of acknowledging their own insecurities, they project them onto you. So suddenly, you're arrogant, showing off, or trying to compete, even though you're just being yourself. 5. Putting it all together. Here's the big picture. Your brain is aligned. You radiate calmness, confidence, or purpose. Their brain picks up your signals through subconscious comparison, RAS filtering, and emotional resonance. Their shadow traits get activated. They feel tension, envy, or irritation. They react in ways that may seem irrational, unfair, or confusing. Your energy is like a mirror. It doesn't create their jealousy, it simply reflects what they haven't integrated in themselves. And get this, the mystical way people describe it as energy isn't wrong. It's just a shorthand for a complex psychological and neurological process. Your inner state broadcasts outward, affecting the people around you, even if they don't consciously understand it. So, while it may feel personal, it's actually universal. And understanding this mechanism is what allows you to navigate relationships, work environments, and social spaces without internalizing someone else's projections. That's the psychology behind the phenomenon, but we're only scratching the surface. Next, we're going even deeper. Real-life examples, subconscious layers, and how this energy actually interacts with people's internal programming. Okay, now here's where things get really interesting. We've talked about the psychology, the RAS, mirror neurons, shadow traits, but let's go deeper. Let's talk about how your energy actually operates, how it interacts with others, and what this looks like in real life. Because once you see the layers, everything clicks. 1. Your energy equals your internal state. Here's the first point. Your energy isn't some magical aura or mystical power. It's literally the reflection of your internal state. Calmness, confidence, alignment, emotional clarity. Think of it like this. Imagine your inner world as a pond. When the water is still, it reflects clearly. When it's turbulent, the reflection is distorted. The people around you are reading that reflection, even if they can't articulate it. They feel it through micro-expressions, posture, tone, and rhythm. Your coherence becomes loud, in a subtle way. People pick it up because humans are wired to sense alignment, intuitively, unconsciously. And here's the twist: the more aligned you are, the more it triggers people who are misaligned. Not because you're doing anything to them, but because your clarity acts like a mirror to their chaos. 2. Real-life examples. Let's bring this into the real world. Example 1. The friend who pulls away. Imagine a friend who always seemed supportive, suddenly becomes distant. You've been meditating, practicing self-awareness, or just feeling more confident. They start criticizing small things, withdrawing, or making passive-aggressive jokes. What's happening? Your calm presence highlights their inner unrest, and instead of facing it, they project it onto you. Example 2. The coworker who becomes competitive. You've been quietly excelling at work, taking initiative without bragging. A coworker starts subtly undermining your efforts, trying to outshine you. It's jealousy, plain and simple. Your focus and competence remind them of their own unfulfilled potential, and their brain reacts instinctively. Example 3. The partner who feels insecure. In romantic relationships, alignment can be especially triggering. When you're emotionally centered, intuitive, or growing spiritually, a partner who hasn't done the same work may feel less than. It can manifest as passive-aggressive comments, doubt, or clinginess. Their reaction isn't about you. It's about the reflection of what they haven't developed in themselves. Example 4. The stranger who feels threatened. Even strangers pick up subtle energy. Walk into a cafe feeling centered, focused, and calm. Someone immediately sizes you up, reacts defensively, or avoids eye contact. Humans unconsciously detect alignment, or lack of it, in others, and our brains make split-second judgments. This is the subconscious part of human social processing in action. 3. Conscious versus subconscious layers. Here's where it gets layered. People's reactions happen on both a conscious and subconscious level. Subconscious layer. This is the microsecond response. It's mirror neurons firing, shadow traits activated, RAS filtering your energy as a high-signal stimulus. People feel tension, irritation, or jealousy without even knowing why. Their brain is doing pattern recognition, comparison, and threat assessment all at once. Conscious layer. Later, the person might rationalize their feelings. I think they're arrogant. They're showing off. I don't like them anymore. Notice how the conscious story rarely matches the root cause. The energy triggered the subconscious first, and the conscious mind just invents a reason afterward. That's why people's reactions often feel confusing, irrational, or overblown. 4. Quantum metaphors for energy interaction. Now let's bring in a metaphor that's both mystical and grounded: quantum coherence. Think of each person's internal state as a frequency, like a wave. When you're aligned, your wave is coherent, stable, and strong. It naturally interacts with other waves around you. Some people's waves resonate with yours. They feel drawn to your presence. Others' waves are out of phase. They feel irritation, jealousy, or discomfort. It's not mystical. It's just a metaphor for how emotional states influence perception. Here's the wild part. The more you stabilize your wave, the more it affects the field around you. You literally shift the emotional frequency of interactions without saying a word. That's why people sometimes describe your presence as magnetic or intense. They aren't wrong. It's a subtle interaction of psychology, perception, and subconscious resonance. 5. Alignment reveals patterns. Another important layer. Your energy often acts like a diagnostic tool for others' unresolved issues. Someone feels jealous because you're calm, and they aren't. Someone reacts defensively because you're authentic, and they're still performing or suppressing themselves. Someone criticizes your growth because they haven't done the inner work to expand. In other words, your aligned energy exposes the shadow patterns of others. And get this, it happens without your intention. You're not creating conflict, you're simply existing in a way that highlights what others aren't ready to face. 6. The feedback loop. There's a subtle feedback loop here. The more aligned you become, the more your energy broadcasts your internal coherence. The more people's subconscious comparisons activate. The more you notice reactions, which may affect your own energy if you're not careful. Understanding this loop is critical. It shows why some environments feel tense when you're growing. It explains why spiritual or self-aware people often attract subtle resistance, passive aggression, or even jealousy. And most importantly, it clarifies that the source of tension is external, not internal. It's a reflection, not a judgment on your worth. 7. Awareness without absorption. The key takeaway here is awareness. You can notice these reactions without absorbing them. When you understand the layers, conscious, subconscious, shadow triggers, emotional resonance, you see people's jealousy as information, not a personal attack. It's like reading the weather. Clouds don't need permission to form, but knowing they're coming helps you plan. Similarly, knowing how energy triggers reactions allows you to maintain alignment, navigate relationships, and remain centered. 8. Bridging mystical and psychological. Here's the final layer of this deep dive. Mystical teachings often talk about energy in ways that seem magical. Science explains it through subconscious processing, emotional salience, mirror neurons, and cognitive bias. When you combine both, it's clear, your inner state is powerful. It shapes your perception of the world and subtly influences the perception of others. Not through manipulation or intention, but through pure coherence. So, the real magic isn't in changing others. It's in understanding your own alignment and how it naturally interacts with the environment. And when you do this, jealousy, discomfort, and subtle resistance from others stop being confusing. They become a signal of growth, not a problem to fix. This deep dive shows that your energy is a mirror and a signal. It reveals shadows in others, highlights gaps in perception, and can even shift the frequency of the space you inhabit. Next, we're going to explore what this really means for your life, your relationships, and your goals, and why understanding it changes everything. Alright, now that we've peeled back the layers, psychology, neuroscience, and subtle energy interactions, it's time to bring this into your daily life. Understanding why people react to your energy isn't just interesting theory, it's transformative. It changes how you navigate relationships, work, and personal growth, and helps you maintain clarity without absorbing other people's unconscious projections. 1. You're not causing jealousy, you're revealing it. Here's a truth many people struggle to accept. When someone reacts with jealousy, irritation, or subtle resistance, it's rarely about you. Your energy isn't creating their emotions, it's revealing what's already inside them. Think of it like a thermometer. It doesn't make the heat or cold, it just shows the temperature. Similarly, your calm, confident, aligned state exposes gaps, insecurities, and shadow traits in others. And here's the liberation. Once you understand this, you stop internalizing their reactions. You don't take it personally, because you know it's about them, not you. This is crucial. Many people spend years trying to fix other people's reactions or wondering what they did wrong. Understanding this truth saves immense mental and emotional energy. Instead of overthinking, you observe patterns objectively. You start seeing jealousy as feedback, not critique. 2. People respond to your internal alignment. Your internal alignment, emotional, mental, and spiritual coherence, determines how others perceive and respond to you. When you're anxious, scattered, or reactive, people may feel more comfortable because you match their own state. When you're calm, confident, and centered, some people feel inspired, but others feel threatened. Think about it. Your energy becomes a sort of radar for others' insecurities. It can subtly highlight what they're avoiding or suppressing. This explains why some relationships feel smooth while others suddenly feel tense. even when nothing has changed externally. It's not coincidence, it's a reflection of internal states interacting. The stronger your alignment, the more obvious the effect. That's why people who grow spiritually, emotionally, or professionally often experience pushback from friends, family, or colleagues. Resistance is a natural byproduct of your energy broadcasting clearly. 3. Impact on relationships. Let's break it down in social terms. Friendships. A friend who hasn't done inner work may act jealous when you thrive. They might downplay your achievements, avoid you, or make subtle sarcastic remarks. Understanding this lets you maintain boundaries and energy without trying to fix them. Workplace. Colleagues may feel subtly threatened when you take initiative or demonstrate competence. Passive-aggressive behavior, backhanded compliments, or subtle undermining often comes from subconscious fear. Recognizing the source helps you navigate professional environments strategically, without overreacting or taking it personally. Romantic relationships. Growth can trigger partners' insecurities. Your calm presence may highlight unresolved fears, attachment patterns, or self-doubt. Awareness here prevents you from internalizing reactions, helps maintain compassion, and encourages conscious communication. Family dynamics. Family members who feel jealous often unconsciously compete for validation or control. Understanding it's a reflection of their internal state helps you detach without resentment and interact with clarity. 4. Aha moment realizations. Here's where the perspective shift happens. Jealousy is a mirror. It shows other shadows, not your flaws. Your growth is magnetic. It attracts supportive people and repels those unready to evolve. Resistance signals impact. People's discomfort is proof that your energy is being noticed and felt. You don't need to dim yourself. Any attempt to hide or reduce your energy compromises your alignment and diminishes your influence. Once you internalize these insights, interactions that used to feel confusing, frustrating, or personal suddenly make sense. You stop questioning your worth. You stop overanalyzing reactions. And you start seeing people's behaviors as information, not judgment. 5. How this shows up in daily life. Your energy shapes more than relationships. It subtly influences daily decisions, opportunities, and success. Workplace presence. When you project calm competence, people unconsciously respect your boundaries and leadership. Jealous reactions often signal that your alignment is challenging their perception of control or capability. Instead of responding defensively, notice it as data. It tells you where subconscious tension exists. Social dynamics. In group settings, your energy shifts conversations. Aligned individuals notice and gravitate toward you. Others may feel unsettled. Understanding this prevents unnecessary drama or self-blame. Pursuit of goals. Your internal coherence attracts mentors, collaborators, and opportunities. Resistance from others may emerge, but it's usually an unconscious reflection of their own fears or limitations. Seeing this allows you to keep moving forward without feeling judged or blocked. Everyday interactions. Even small exchanges, like a stranger's glance, a cashier's attitude, or a friend's subtle comment, can reflect subconscious resonance with your energy. Awareness helps you navigate these interactions without absorbing negativity or overthinking. 6. Understanding the feedback loop. There's a subtle pattern many people miss. Your energy creates a feedback loop. You strengthen your alignment. People unconsciously react, positively or negatively. Their reaction subtly impacts your own state if you're not mindful. If you internalize negative responses, you lose coherence, amplifying tension. If you maintain awareness, you stay centered, observe objectively, and respond without drama. This loop explains why self-aware or spiritual individuals often feel resistance in social or professional settings. It's not a punishment, it's a natural effect of broadcasting internal alignment. The key is to notice the feedback without letting it shift your center. 7. Why spiritual or self-aware people often get misread. Mystical teachings describe energy in ways that sound magical: magnetism, aura, vibration. Science frames it as subconscious resonance and emotional perception. The paradox: people who meditate, practice self-awareness, or maintain clarity often feel misunderstood or isolated. Their aligned energy highlights misalignment in others. The more visible your growth, the stronger the mirror effect becomes, and some people unconsciously resist it. This explains why spiritually or emotionally evolved people sometimes attract jealousy, passive aggression, or subtle rejection. It's not a flaw, it's proof of impact and alignment. 8. Transforming perspective into power. Here's where it gets empowering. Recognize jealousy as a reflection, not an attack. Notice patterns in relationships without absorbing them. Identify who resonates with your energy versus who reacts with discomfort. Make decisions, social, professional, and personal, based on awareness instead of reaction. When you see it this way, what once felt like conflict or rejection becomes clarity. You learn who supports your growth, who mirrors your journey, and who resists it unconsciously. It's a roadmap for navigating life with insight and alignment. 9. Daily mental shifts and awareness practices. To integrate this fully, observe, don't internalize. When someone reacts negatively, pause and ask, is this about me or them? Use jealousy as a mirror. Their reactions reveal gaps or unresolved patterns in themselves. Maintain alignment. Stay calm and coherent. Don't adjust your energy to please others. Expand compassion. Recognize that reactions often stem from fear or self-doubt, not personal animosity. These subtle mental shifts prevent drama, improve relationships, and maintain your energy integrity. 10. Summary of practical implications. Jealousy reflects shadows, not flaws. Your energy broadcasts internal alignment. Calm, confident states are visible to others. People's reactions are often subconscious. Their discomfort is a signal, not a judgment. Awareness prevents absorption. You can remain centered despite external reactions. Alignment shapes relationships and opportunities. Growth naturally attracts support and highlights resistance. Subtle mental shifts turn jealousy into guidance. Observation, compassion, and detachment empower you. Understanding these implications transforms how you see yourself, how you interact with others, and how you navigate social, professional, and personal spaces. Jealousy no longer feels threatening. It becomes a map of awareness, information, and growth. Alright, now that you understand the psychology, the neuroscience, and the mystical resonance of your energy, let's talk about what to actually do. This section is about turning awareness into practical action so you can maintain alignment, navigate jealousy, and stay centered no matter what's happening around you. 1. Neutral presence practice. The first step is learning to maintain a neutral, grounded presence in the face of other people's reactions. Here's the thing: when someone reacts with subtle jealousy, irritation, or projection, your natural tendency might be to respond defensively, explain yourself, or try to fix them. But that only amplifies the cycle. Instead, practice observing their behavior without attachment. Notice their reactions. Label it internally: this is about them, not me. Maintain calm breathing and centered posture. Think of it like standing on a shore while the waves crash. You don't fight the waves, you stay anchored. By cultivating this neutral presence, you prevent others' projections from disturbing your internal coherence. 2. Energetic boundaries equals psychological boundaries. Boundaries aren't just about words, they're about energy. Your internal alignment communicates a lot more than your speech. When you maintain energetic boundaries, you're signaling, I'm responsible for my energy, not yours. I won't dim myself to make you comfortable. Practical ways to implement energetic boundaries. Physical awareness. Maintain upright posture, avoid slouching or shrinking. Emotional awareness. Notice when you start absorbing tension, consciously release it. Mental awareness. Remind yourself that other people's reactions are reflections, not evaluations. These boundaries don't create separation or conflict, they create clarity. You remain in control of your presence without trying to control the other person. 3. Shadow awareness for yourself. Here's a subtle but powerful step. Check your own shadows. Some reactions you experience from others may amplify unresolved patterns within yourself. When you notice discomfort, jealousy, or comparison, ask yourself, is this truly about them, or am I unconsciously mirroring something in myself? Engaging in shadow work, acknowledging hidden fears, insecurities, or suppressed desires, reduces projection loops. The clearer and more aligned you are, the less likely you are to absorb someone else's jealousy. And get this, the more you integrate your own shadow, the less threatening your energy becomes to others, without losing your strength or authenticity. 4. Alignment maintenance practices. Maintaining alignment is an ongoing practice. Your energy isn't a static trait. It fluctuates based on attention, mindset, and habits. Simple yet effective practices. Morning intention setting. Spend 5 to 10 minutes visualizing how you want to show up energetically. Breathwork. Regular conscious breathing keeps nervous system and emotional state coherent. Mindful observation. Throughout the day, pause to notice your internal state. Are you calm, reactive, or scattered? Adjust accordingly. Focus on internal validation. Don't rely on others to confirm your growth or energy. Your internal alignment is the real metric. When you consistently apply these practices, your energy becomes more stable, resilient, and magnetic. You'll notice subtle differences. People respond more positively, jealous reactions reduce, and your clarity in relationships improves. 5. Recognizing patterns and choosing your engagement. Awareness also gives you the power to choose how you engage. Recognize patterns. Notice which people consistently mirror discomfort or jealousy. Adjust expectations. Some people may never align with your energy, and that's okay. Selective energy investment. Prioritize interactions where alignment, growth, and mutual respect are present. This doesn't mean avoiding challenge. It means choosing battles wisely and conserving your energy. When you respond selectively, you remain coherent instead of reacting impulsively. 6. What you'll notice when you apply this. Once you start applying these mental shifts and alignment practices, you'll notice. You feel less drained after interactions with reactive people. You stop internalizing jealousy, criticism, or passive-aggressive behavior. Your presence feels more grounded, magnetic, and intentional. Relationships naturally sort themselves. Supportive individuals gravitate toward you, and resistant ones drift away without conflict. Your intuition strengthens. You can sense subtle energy shifts in people without judgment. These are not just subtle benefits, they're life-changing. You'll start understanding social and professional dynamics on a deeper, almost subconscious level. 7. Integrating mystical understanding with psychology. Here's the final layer. This isn't about mystical energy in a vacuum. It's grounded in psychology and neuroscience. Your vibration is simply the coherence of your internal state. Other people's jealousy is a reflection of their shadows, subconscious comparison, and emotional resonance. When you maintain alignment, you act as a stabilizing field, influencing interactions without trying to manipulate them. Think of it like tuning an instrument. When you're in tune, other instruments resonate or clash, but it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It's simply physics, psychology, and awareness working together. 8. Summary of how to apply. Neutral presence. Observe others' reactions without absorbing them. Energetic boundaries. Maintain physical, emotional, and mental clarity. Shadow awareness. Integrate your own unresolved traits to reduce projection loops. Alignment maintenance. morning intentions, breath work, and mindful awareness keep your energy coherent. Pattern recognition. Notice recurring reactions and choose where to invest your energy. Integration. Blend psychological understanding with mystical insight to navigate life intentionally. When you apply these steps consistently, interactions that once felt confusing, irritating, or draining become clear, empowering, and even informative. Jealousy, irritation, or subtle resistance from others no longer shakes your center. They become indicators, not obstacles. Let's tie it all together. Here's the truth. The subtle tension, jealousy, or resistance you notice from others isn't about you, it's about them. Your energy, your alignment, confidence, calmness, and clarity acts like a mirror, reflecting what others haven't fully integrated in themselves. We've explored the psychology behind this: subconscious comparison, RAS filtering, mirror neurons, and shadow projection. We've seen how your presence triggers responses on both conscious and subconscious levels, and why people often misread or react unconsciously to your growth. We've also delved into the mystical metaphor, your energy as a coherent wave, resonating with some people while clashing with others, showing that your inner state naturally interacts with the world around you. The practical implications are profound. You don't need to dim yourself or hide your growth. You can observe others' reactions without internalizing them. You can maintain alignment and use their jealousy or resistance as guidance, rather than conflict. Relationships, opportunities, and social dynamics naturally sort themselves based on energetic resonance. And the best part? You have control over your own energy. Through neutral presence, energetic boundaries, shadow integration, and alignment maintenance, you can navigate life with clarity, resilience, and intention. You become someone whose presence uplifts, influences, and stabilizes without effort, and whose growth no longer feels threatening to others. So here's the takeaway: people's reactions are mirrors, not judgments. Your aligned energy is a signal of growth, not a source of conflict. The more you understand this, the more liberated you become. You stop questioning yourself, stop absorbing negativity, and start living fully in your center. If this resonated, drop a comment about your experience. And subscribe to Echoes Between Worlds for more deep dives into psychology, consciousness, and the hidden patterns that shape our lives.